Here at the back of the aircraft factory is a collection of missiles that were developed by the Guided Weapons Division of Vickers Armstrongs that was based here at Brooklands between the late 1940s and 1962 when it moved to Stevenage. As you can see, some of them are of a substantial size, but we're actually going to focus on this, the Vickers Vigilant, a wire-guided anti-tank missile that was developed as a private venture by Vickers Armstrongs after the government contracts for the larger missiles were cancelled. The difficulties of getting free flight munitions to hit their targets accurately had resulted in a range of attempts to design remotely controlled versions during the Second World War. German scientists had developed radio-guided bombs and wire-guided missiles with limited success, and the Americans had produced a radio-controlled version of Barnes-Wallis's Tallboy bomb, although it was too late to be used in the conflict. In the UK, the post-war government set up a number of secret projects with rainbow code names involving a colour and random noun. For these, Vickers Armstrongs established a guided weapons division at Brooklands in the late 1940s and started work on the Blue Boar project for a range of guided glide bomb weapons. These were to use television camera technology for remote guidance, but in the event the bombs turned out to be too heavy for any aircraft to carry them, and the project was cancelled. The same fate befell the next project, called Red Dean. This was intended to be a radar-guided air-to-air missile to be carried by versions of the Gloucester Javelin delta-winged fighter. But again the missile's weight grew too great. It was cancelled in favour of a smaller follow-on called Red Hebe. But this project fell foul of the infamous 1957 government white paper, which proposed fundamental changes to the UK air defences. So once more Vickers Armstrongs was left with nothing. At that point, managing director Sir George Edwards convinced the Vickers board to develop a new anti-tank weapon as a private venture, and it was this that eventually became the Vigilant missile. The Vigilant was designed to replace the existing Anglo-Australian Malkara anti-tank missile then in service with the British Army. The Vigilant was faster, lighter and more accurate than the Malkara, albeit with a significantly shorter range. Unlike the Malkara, it did not need a special mounting vehicle, but could be carried by a soldier in its own container that doubled as its launcher. Vigilant used a similar guidance system transmitted through a thin wire that uncoiled behind the missile, but it was considerably easier to operate. It was put into service with the British Army and a number of others in 1962, by which time Vickers Armstrongs had become part of the British Aircraft Corporation, and the Guided Weapons Division moved from Brooklands to Stevenage in Hertfordshire.